Hello, I'm Dr. Alveda King, Director of African American Outreach with Priest for Life. Today, I want to talk to you about the 50th anniversary of the United States Civil Rights Movement. On July 2nd, 2014, that will be marked forever as the 50th anniversary of the United States Civil Rights Act. Of course, we know that 50 years ago, when that legislation was passed, America was embroiled in battles and struggles and fights based upon skin color. We were fighting against something called Jim Crow laws. As the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the daughter of his brother, Reverend A.D. King, and the granddaughter of Daddy King, Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., I was involved in that struggle, actually. During the 1960s, prior to the assassination of my uncle, Dr. King, and my father, Reverend A.D. King, the next year, I was a youth organizer. I marched in several marches, and we had many demonstrations. Most of my time was spent in Louisville, Kentucky, in what is called the Open Housing Movement, where my father was the founder of the Kentucky Christian Civil Rights Conference. So working with organizations like that, I'm very well aware of what a civil rights struggle and a civil rights battle is. Now, 50 years later, we have had some inroads as far as skin color is concerned. We are beginning to get the message out that we are one human race. Out of Acts 17:26, of one blood God made all people to dwell on the face of the earth. The Bible goes on to say God even chose where he would position us on the earth, where we would be fruitful and multiply and our populations could increase. Of course, now, 50 years later, we're still dealing with the agents of population control, eugenics, genocide. Margaret Sanger was one of the prominent eugenicists and committing genocide against minorities and people she called the unfit. She said that colored people are like weeds. They need to be exterminated. We don't want the word to get out, so let's cultivate some of their leaders to help us promote this message. And so a lot of that was going on during the same time of the civil rights movement. And I've actually said that at the time Rosa Parks said, "I will no longer sit on the back of the bus," a front seat was being prepared for me over at the abortion mill. And I know this to be true. Here in this century, centered around now, moving towards this 50th anniversary and beyond, we find that there are deaths of women by abortion as well as deaths of babies. Not only African American women, of course I could name a lady, Jennifer Morabelli, a Caucasian woman, Carmenita Marngar, who was an immigrant to the United States, African American women, Tanya Reeves in Chicago, Lakeisha Wilson in Ohio. We can talk about the Gosnell's House of Horrors, where he even had segregated rooms for abortions to kill the babies and sometimes hurt the women. And for the Caucasian women, his waiting room was a little cleaner, a little nicer. Not that it was really clean, but a little cleaner, a little nicer than what he provided for the African American women. And so we're finding that there are still civil rights issues in the United States today, but I want to remind us that the battle is also in the womb. There is a real war on women, not just the kidnapping of girls in Nigeria, for instance, the 300 girls who were kidnapped in Nigeria. But there is a war against the womb of women. And there are little women in the wombs that never get to be born because they've been aborted. There's a lot of deception that is going on around what a civil right is and what a civil wrong is. But it is civilly wrong to take the life of a human person in the womb of his or her mother. It's a civil wrong to not give that mother fair and accurate information about how abortion and harmful birth control agents can hurt her life and her body. That's why here at Priest for Life, we are opposing the HHS mandate. We ask for you to pray with us in our litigation so that we can continue to exercise our religious right, freedom, and privilege to teach the truth about the harmful impact of abortion. God bless you. Dr. Alveda King, Director of African American Outreach with Priest for Life.